Sandy Rios back with you. Sandy Rios in the morning on AFR Talk. I'm so glad you joined me this morning. I've told you many times I'm from Chicago, and just a breath away, just a few hours away, is beautiful Wisconsin. Feel very close to the people of Wisconsin, lots of friends up there. And so when the battle raged last fall in Wisconsin, the state capital, many of us, including the organization that I also work for called, Family Pack Federal, very involved in that fight. Not as involved as my next guest, but let me just say that you probably saw it every night on your television. You saw union members holding out in the state capitol. You actually saw them trash the state capitol. It was just an amazing thing. Playing music, not that there's nothing wrong with music, but it was just strange behavior, and you wonder, they even got out from school to do this. And in conjunction with that, I think the worst part, the reason they did that was because Governor Scott Walker was elected, and he passed right away reforms that would keep unions from having the power that they have in schools and in other places. And the houses in Wisconsin, both houses, passed that legislation, and they were furious. They were furious. And as a matter of fact, they took some steps. They threatened State Senator Dan Kapenke with recall. They did recall him, and they staged protests outside of his home. They issued death threats. They sent his wife disgusting letters in the mail. They spread nails and glass all over his driveway, and they managed to get him out of office. Rebecca Kleefisch is the lieutenant governor of Wisconsin, and when I read her bio, I understand why I met her last week, why I like her so much. Rebecca started out in media and then left that job to raise her family and work part-time in public relations and governmental affairs, and started blogging and then started appearing as a political pundit, and she was elected as the lieutenant governor right alongside Scott Walker, and now she is also the target of this recall attempt. And she joins us from Wisconsin right now, Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Kleefisch. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Sandy. How are you?
I'm very well. All right, Rebecca, tell us at least first, right up the top, where are you with this recall? What's the timeline, and what is the process here?
Well, right now, our Government Accountability Board is sorting through the signatures on my petitions. Folks spent their entire winters collecting these signatures in hopes of recalling us, essentially trying to remake a decision that the majority of voters in Wisconsin just made in fall of 2010. And voters overwhelmingly elected the governor and me because we said we'd do a budget without raising taxes. And in 2008, the Great Recession hit Wisconsin hard. People are still being pinched by it, and that's why there was this desperate need to do a budget without raising taxes. Well, the result of that is what you've spent the last couple minutes describing. We all got death threats, and our Capitol was trashed, and people were intimidated right and left. It was scary times. Even my little kids were scared to go to the Capitol. People would shout at them, and, it's kind of creepy when you work in a situation like that. But what's scarier is that if we lose this recall, any politician, Republican or Democrat, is going to think twice before making a politically bold, a courageous decision, because they know that the threat of recall is just around the corner.
I'll try to be clearer now about what this really means. Basically, unions in all of the states have been able to, through their union leadership, have been able to raise their salaries, their pensions, just on, and their benefits without any kind of restraint. And state budgets...
That's what's called collective bargaining. And so we've put some restrictions on collective bargaining, the things you can collectively bargain for. Now, you can only do collective bargaining on your salary, and that's only up to the Consumer Price Index. That was fair.
Well, and just to put some detail on this, I happen to know, because I am from Chicago, that in Illinois, at least, we have people, educators, getting pensions of around, some of them, $300,000 a year. That's how out of control this has gotten. And now that the bottom is dropping out of our economy, this is unsustainable. And that's what you've been finding in Wisconsin. So this is basically what Scott Walker did, and you, when you got into office, you stopped that.
Sandy, when you talk about that $300,000 right there, you know who pays for that, right? I mean, it's us. It's the taxpayers.
And yet, you guys are in danger of being recalled. Now, and I also know that union folk from Chicago are flooding. They did that at the state capitol, across the border, trying to influence your race. Money is coming in. The Obama administration, allegedly, from what I'm reading, is supporting this effort for recall because there's a lot at stake. There's no better friend to the unions than this administration. And so, what do you think the chances are here? As you put your finger up, what do you think?
Well, I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win because if you go to the ballot box and you vote on the facts, then you vote for us every time. Because the facts are, it worked. The reforms are saving hundreds of millions of dollars, and my little girls and Scott's teenage boys and all the children of Wisconsin are going to have a bright and prosperous future in our state because we have seen the danger coming and we have stopped it from reaching our kids. We have prevented a crisis for our health care and our pension systems because we addressed the challenges when we saw them. Other states just aren't doing that. So I feel good about the election results, but I need help. I got a website, Sandy. It's RebeccaForReal.com. And you know that money is just going to be flooding in from the unions. And the governor obviously has been doing quite well fundraising, but, you know, we can't replace me with a Democrat lieutenant governor who would make it his mission to use the lieutenant governor's position as a bully pulpit for the next 2 years straight and harass our good governor. He's got to continue to make good changes in Wisconsin.